Our guest is Adam Nedeff. Adam, I'm going to try and stump you here, and I'm going to ask you, were there more hosts for the Family Feud or people who played James Bond?
Okay, so let's see. Richard Dawson, Ray Combs, Louis Anderson, John O'Hurley, Richard Karn, Steve Harvey, and then we have Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton.
Okay. I missed it. I was on the. I'm back. I'm back. Welcome back.
Pierce Brosnan. Let's see. Does
you're forgetting George Lazenby.
George Lazenby.
Don't give him the answer.
I'm trying to help him. Wait a minute. I am trying to stump
Daniel
him.
Craig.
I'm trying to help him.
Daniel Craig. Thank you for not missing Daniel Craig. And then who do you think is going to be the new one? Is it going to be Idris Elba? Is it going to be Henry Cavill?
I think they've already ruled out Idris Elba.
Did they really? I thought it was still up between him and old Henrietta Cavill.
Henrietta Stone?
Yeah.
We're getting off.
No, I think that I'm going to go for a dark horse candidate and say it's going to be Steve Carell.
Stupid. Yo, you don't even know what stupid is. It's about to get all stupid up in here.
People with like a Cockney accent through the whole movie, and you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a tie. I think it's a tie.
I think it is a tie. Yeah.
You know what? I grew up watching
now.
Richard Dawson.
Do you know? Now, the more fascinating thing is the people who almost hosted Family Feud and then did. At one point, Joe Namath was being considered for the job.
What?
Yeah.
And at another point, Dolly Parton was being considered for the job.
Let me ask you this: Do you think that in any of the seminars that Richard Dawkins was doing? Richard Dawkins, that someone showed up with a Family Feud T-shirt, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm completely messed up."
I would,
or vice versa.
I liked Richard Dawson. Okay, I grew up watching Richard Dawson, and I really liked Ray Combs. I did. Yeah. John O'Hurley is kind of forgettable, and so was what's his face, the dude from
George Lazenby.
Richard Karn, thank you. Yeah, George Lazenby was he only hosted one episode of Family Feud.
He did.
And then, but as much as I love Louis Anderson gave that vibe that he just really wanted to be anywhere else. He's like, survey said, top 5 questions, and oh God.
Yeah.
And he sounded like Krusty the Clown.
Name a body part that women are self-conscious about. You said butt. Survey said. What the hell was that?
He was just like what? Just like he's gonna die any minute. I've never seen anybody more miserable.
There was Howard Felcher was the executive producer for Goodson Todman on the original version of Family Feud, and he gave an opinion of Louis Anderson once. This isn't an exact quote, but it's close. But he said if Louis Anderson walked into a restaurant after taping 5 episodes of Family Feud, and one of the families was in the restaurant having dinner, he'd have no idea who they were.
Poor I love him. I loved him as a stand-up comic, but it just that was not that was and something. I mean, it's like, and you know what, I really like Steve Harvey, not Harvey.
Yeah.
But Family Feud used to be a family show, and it's not so much anymore.
We've all grown up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, have you noticed that they're trying to shift to an older audience?
Yeah. And the thing is, they've gotten results to it. So yeah. And I mean, that's the tricky thing when you offer a criticism like that. The problem is, it works. So
it's
even
totally
if you
working.
don't like it, you kind of have to say, you kind of have to step by and say, okay, well, it's working for them. It's getting results. So
I mean, but what kids are
really
watching? What kids are watching game shows now anyway? They're watching YouTube videos of people getting kicked in the nuts by a mule.
No, you're right.
My niece. The exciting news from back home is my niece has grown obsessed with the original Bob Barker years of The Price is Right.
Oh,
okay.
There's Pluto TV, which I think we were talking about before we started recording this.
Pluto,
Yeah. They have a 24-hour-a-day channel of nothing but The Price is Right, starring Bob Barker.
Yeah.
And it's episodes spanning 1982 to 1985. And apparently my niece just loves that channel and loves the original Price is Right. The interesting thing is there's still a kids audience among what I kind of call the legacy shows, which are shows like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, which have just been on forever.
Yeah.
And the result of those shows being on forever is there are people who got hooked on those shows, watching them with their grandparents, watching them with their parents, and now they're watching them as adults, and now they're watching them with their kids, and their kids are getting hooked on them. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a kid audience out there. I just went to a live show of Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune has a live touring production now, just as The Price is Right does. And I sat in the audience for that. There were definitely kids in the audience for Wheel of Fortune when I went there last week. So yeah, there's another generation of kids growing up on game shows. One of the things that I find fascinating, though, is one of the media that we're on right now, Twitch, has sort of created this environment where you can create your own. And there are people that are doing just their own game shows on Twitch. I have a very good friend named Stod St. Fleur who's created a game show called You Can't Be Serious. And he hosts it out of his bedroom, and he hosts it on Twitch and gets a very good audience for it. And the premise of the show, and it's a fantastic premise, but basically the premise of You Can't Be Serious is you're playing a game like Pyramid, and your partner is Alexa.
Oh. Okay.
So the idea is to feed Alexa things that'll cause Alexa to say the word that you're looking at.
Okay.
So yeah.
Have you?
go ahead.
Have you ever played the You Don't Know Jack? The You Don't Know Jack games.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm in charge of the games every Christmas party in my family, and yeah, we always end up doing Jackbox.
So one of the things that I want to do with the show, and maybe with patrons or guests or whoever, is stream that thing on Twitch and play with the audience or play with the guest. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is I think it'd be fun, and two is every time we try to do it as a family here, things get violent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a deleted scene of The Shining where they were playing You Don't Know Jack right before he got the axe and started going through the hotel.
Well, we have there's a friend of the show, a friend of mine, friend of Mike's, Michael Flannery. And when he was at WCPO here in Cincinnati, he hosted a local game show called Know It Alls, which is all Cincinnati trivia. And he brought it back, and he hosts it on Facebook from his used Prius. And last week, he was giving away a chance to win $5,000. And what he was doing, he was giving away Ohio lottery tickets. So it's a chance to win $5,000. So, you mentioned Bob Barker just a minute ago, and that segued into actually what I had next on the list. Netflix had this documentary called The Contestant Who Knew Too Much, and it made me angry because you weren't part of it.
Hey, what happened?
It's about a game show, and I'm like, well, where in the hell is Adam? And I watched it. You weren't there. I rewound it, and I fast forward through it again, and I looked at the credits, and you're not on it, and it pissed me off.
The crazy thing was I was working at CBS in the prize department the day that happened.
Okay.
I was in my office, and we got word that the Price is Right taping that was happening across from us was being shut down for 45 minutes while an emergency investigation was being conducted.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, cheater, cheater, cheater. We think this guy cheated. And meanwhile, me being a game show fan and me being a game show fan with internet access, I'm like, he probably just knew the prices, because there are devoted fans to game shows like there are any others.
Yeah.
And there are fans that know the prices on The Price is Right. It's like there was all this panic about it. And I'm just thinking, well, he probably just recognized all the prizes in the showcase.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that contestant. It was a guy in the audience who was helping him out.
Yeah,
ultimately that's what it turned out. It was just a guy who knew the prices.
They made this big big documentary about it.
Yeah.
And after I watched it, I'm like, so? No, there was no scandal. He just, he's just a guy who had
it got blown up into far more than it should have and more than it would have in past years.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Pluto channel, and there's one of my favorite episodes that they've rerun from The Price is Right, and I'm not so obsessed that I can tell you the episode number and watch for it on Pluto.
Episode 114, 1987.
Yeah.
Yes. Holly was the first.
There was...
Yeah.
There's an extended edition where
the first item up for bids is a pair of lamps. And Bob's like, okay, contestant, what's your bid on this pair of lamps? And contestant goes, okay, the brand name on those lamps is Quoizel, right? And Bob says, yes, it's Quoizel. And she says, and there's two of them, right? And he's, yes. Okay, $416. And the bell sounds for the perfect bid. And Bob says, it's $416. Congratulations, you won the lamps. And she explains, I've memorized 400 of the prices on this show.
Yeah.
And immediately you can see Bob's attitude is Bob is kind of rooting for her to win the hour because Bob is seeing it as I have a loyal viewer here.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see the audience pulling for her, and she wins her pricing game, and her pricing game is Safecrackers, and she wins Safecrackers because it's another prize that she recognized. So The Price is Right, under Barker's watch, treated it as a reward, as an incentive. They made a point of saying, if you watch The Price is Right every day, you will win on The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Because we do cycle these prizes in and out.
Yeah.